Recently, I've been thinking about Sonic Adventure 2 a lot, and I think the reason for that is because this is the game that I feel like is the one that I think of when I think about the entire Sonic franchise. Not only is the story and gameplay phenomenal in my opinion, but also the sheer fact that each of these characters were portrayed in such a great way. Almost all of them were at their peak, and if they weren't, they were getting close to that status. I believe the point I'm making here is the sheer fact that I think all of these characters were great, even if they weren't completely finished yet. And with that in mind, I believe that Knuckles probably stuck out the strongest to me. The reason I say this is because even though Knuckles is a main character in the series, and he's one of the core three of the entire franchise, that being Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, he is the one that gets the least amount of attention in comparison to the rest of them. Now, that's not to say that Knuckles does not get any attention, nor does he have other great moments, but more so to say that Knuckles actually gets the shorter end of the stick. And when I say that, I mean Knuckles just recently had a return to form. He just finally got fixed in the Sonic movie sequel. But before that, we know Knuckles as this character who was always off to the side and kind of an idiot. And we even saw that happen in Sonic Boom, where almost every character, yes, was rewritten, but I would argue that none were written as poorly as Knuckles was. I would even go out of my way to argue that Knuckles was actually ruined by the events of Sonic Boom. You see, everyone had made this attachment that Knuckles was now this idiot character, and because of that, he gained this stigma. And I think this also happened to characters like Shadow the Hedgehog, where he was always seen as this edgy, trying to be cool character when he was already cool to begin with. These are two characters I feel like really needed a change. So when I went back to play Sonic Adventure 2, it was like a breath of fresh air. Seeing the way these characters interact with one another and the way they just are in general and how they hold themselves was really nice to see. And I feel like Knuckles has one of the best moments in this game with a character he just met and a new character at that being Rouge the Bat. Now, if you know Knuckles as a character, you will understand that the Master Emerald is something that he feels inclined to guard on his own. So in the beginning of the game, where Rouge tries to steal the Master Emerald from Knuckles, we feel more in favor of Knuckles having victory over her, in which he can keep the Master Emerald to himself exactly where it needs to be, instead of in the possession of Team Dark. So if you can't tell from any other information other than this one cutscene alone, Knuckles is on the hero side, Rouge is on the bad side. So you obviously want the hero to triumph over the evil. Hopefully, anyway. But let's get to the end cutscene here when it comes to Knuckles and Rouge, and that kind of concludes their part of the story in Sonic Adventure 2, and this might be one of the best cutscenes for Knuckles as a character, and I think this is his best moment overall. So the scene kicks off immediately after Knuckles and Rouge had their final fight of the game, and the two of them are bickering over who actually deserves the pieces of the Master Emerald, or the Emerald to its entirety. And that leads to Rouge slipping off and falling almost into a vat of, I believe, lava, and it's Knuckles who reaches down and saves her. Before I dive into any more of the scene to its entirety, I want to talk about this particular moment first. Now, there's a couple things that make this particular moment just so fantastic, and one of those being Rouge could have saved herself. I believe she definitely could have. Now, let's not erase the fact that she does have wings, and she could easily just fly away from that lava. That in mind, Knuckles decides to lend the enemy a helping hand. He decides to go out of his own way and save Rouge himself rather than her trying to save herself in the process. Knuckles is the type of character who, even though he's been fighting with this character throughout the entirety of this game, he is going to save her. And even if Rouge couldn't save herself in this situation, like she couldn't fly away from the lava, it still doesn't diminish Knuckles' efforts in trying to save her in the first place. At the end of the day, no matter what the reason, Knuckles went out of his way to go ahead and save this character who he had been battling throughout the entirety of the game. Moving on to later in the scene, Knuckles says to Rouge that he only saved her just because he needed to get the pieces of the Master Emerald back from her. But even then, I don't think that's necessarily true. If we go back and take a look at the early character description for Knuckles, we can see that one of his weak points is girls. He is a shy guy. While yes, this may have been a character description made for Sonic 3, I still think it holds up very well in Sonic Adventure 2. This is very well indicated in the scene at least twice towards the very end. When Knuckles finally restores the Master Emerald, he takes a long look at Rouge and he apologizes if he ever hurt her, and then he proceeds to run away immediately. Going back earlier in the cutscene where Knuckles claimed he only saved Rouge to save the Master Emerald, I believe that was a lie just because I don't think he knew how to fully express himself. And even towards the very end of this cutscene, he just kind of figures it out, and by the time he gets that far, he kind of abandons the scene altogether. Even Rouge later says to him that no matter what he says, it just sounds crazy, almost as if Knuckles is trying to cover for something. All in all, what really makes this scene so great is the sheer fact that Knuckles got to illustrate just how good of a person, or I guess echidna, he can truly be. And in this scene, it's illustrated when he saves the one character he's been antagonizing throughout the entire game. To me, this has to be the best Knuckles moment because it doesn't feel out of character for him, and at this point in time, he's already a well-developed character. This isn't his beginning, but more so his totality. To me, this is where Knuckles peaked as a character. But I want to see what you guys have to say in the comment section down below. What do you guys think about this cutscene? And more importantly, what is your favorite Knuckles moment? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'd love to see what you guys have to say. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe on it as I would really appreciate it. And while I'm at it, I should also shout out my legendary channel members. Thank you all so very much for supporting me and my channel and creating the best possible content that I can create. Videos like these would not be possible without you. Y'all are truly amazing. If you're interested in becoming a member of my channel, there will be a link in the description down below. But if you want to support me through other means, I have a merch store. And you guys can check out all sorts of legendary Sonicsta swag, whether it be hoodies, t-shirts, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, I got it. The link will be in the description for that as well. But anyway, thank you all for watching. This is Sonicsta signing out. Have a super blessed day, y'all.
Why are you playing that trash?